but we're going to talk about our Perfect Botanical Foundation. And you guys, this is going to be a quick Zoom. I'm not keeping you all night, but I do want to back up just a tiny bit and give you just a little backstory because I think it's interesting. And I think a lot of people don't realize that because LimeLife is a fairly new company, and some people don't realize that this company actually began, let me look here, in 1952. It was very, very popular, still is, on Broadway and Hollywood, but it was only available to makeup artists. So the everyday person like you and I didn't have access to it. And so it's been fairly recently, in the last, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, 6-7 years, that the Milardi family broke off a branch of their makeup dynasty and made it available for you and I. And one of the products that has been around forever, but has undergone lots of changes, is our foundation. Now, let me just give you a little fun fact in here, since we're talking about Broadway and Hollywood and all of that. But if you guys have ever looked at our shades of foundation, our very lightest shade is porcelain. And I think it is absolutely so cool that that certain color was created for Queen Amidala in Star Trek. And so that just gives you just a little bit of a glance as to how intertwined this company is with professional makeup, in that industry. So, okay, so let's look here. LimeLife collaborates with different brands. So it's not like some of our products are created solely, by us. And then some of them we collaborate with other companies. It's like our priming spray, our setting spray. That is the same as Scandinavia, which you can buy at Ulta or Sephora. Well, it is the same with our foundation. We collaborate with RCMA, which is a top of the line makeup brand. And so they are with us, working with us on our foundation. Now, the one thing that has changed with our foundation over the years is Michelle Milardi-Gay wanted everything to be safe. And so our foundation, let me give you this, is only vegetable oils, pure waxes, and FDA approved colors. Now, what it doesn't contain is any animal product ingredients, any harmful and toxic chemicals, any perfume or fragrances, no lanolin, no petroleum, no mineral oil, which all of that eliminates your chance of having any type of an allergic reaction. And then it helps not have excessive oiliness on your skin when you're done. So let's see, it is also cruelty-free, gluten-free, nut-free, and paraben-free. Paraben-free is huge. Parabens are linked so highly with cancer, you guys. And so we are getting ready. A lot of, I know all the beauty guides know that, but we're getting ready to launch this deodorant line, which is huge because they are usually full of parabens. So that's a big thing with this. She did not want that. Michelle Milardi-Gay did not want that in her products. And so we have a foundation that does not contain parabens. In other words, this is a healthy product for all of us. And so let's see, it's a wax-based cream foundation. It doesn't go down into your pores, which also means it's non-comedogenic. I think is how you say that. I have seen that word so many times, but I was always like, wonder what that means. Well, that's what it means. It's not going to go down into your pores. It also doesn't oxidize, which means if you are outside all day with the environment and the elements, it is not going to work with your foundation to cause it to change colors. Have you guys ever used a foundation that you put on and you're out and about and you look in the mirror to check yourself out and make sure you're still looking good, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm orange? That does happen with lots of foundations. And so it does not happen with LimeLife. And so that is a huge, huge factor. It is 50% pigmented. We talk about this all of the time. And some people are probably thinking, why is that such a big deal? Well, you guys, normal drugstore products are anywhere from 10 to 26% pigmented. Most of them are under 20. Ours is 50%. So just think of that, ladies. That just means it takes such a little product to get that desired color that you want. So that bottle of drugstore foundation that you buy that lasts you like a month, if that, because you're having to put it on over and over to get the desired effect and color, and then then you're still going to turn orange, but you don't have that. You're going to put on enough foundation to get the coverage that you want. I'm really trying not to get sidetracked, but I can see my little grandbaby there waving at me, and I just want to stop and blow kisses. Sorry, you guys. It is buildable. So like I said, you can, by Gray, you can put on a very light coverage. You can add a little more for a medium coverage. And if you are someone that wants a full coverage, I want to have the full coverage. I want all these imperfections to be gone. You can build it up to have a full coverage. It's whatever you want to do. There are 34 shades. And that's, as many of you know, that's a fairly new thing. We came out with a lot of new shades back in March, so that we were a more inclusive company. We can service so many more people and all of the different skin tones now. Okay, it is perfect for every skin type. It's perfect for oily, it's perfect for dry, it's perfect for combination, it's perfect for sensitive, and it's perfect for those of us who call ourselves mature. So any of those. So you guys, now the only suggestion I have as far as the skin types is if you are someone that struggles with very dry skin, I highly recommend trying our foundation with a little bit of Due Date, which is a facial oil. That gives it a little more moisture on your face. And it also, if you use that, it gives you kind of that dewy glow, more like a BB cream, if you've heard of that, more like a tinted moisturizer, but that helps, if you're dry. Okay, I want to talk to you about 4 very important steps that accompany our foundation. And number 1, you guys, can I get like a hands up for skincare? Because if you do not have a great skincare routine, you're probably going to come back and complain to me about your foundation. Because you're going to say, oh, I have cracks, it's settling in the cracks, or you can see all of my dry skin, or whatever. 9.9 times out of 10, it's because you don't have a skincare routine. And you're not using a moisturizer, and so sorry about that, that keeps stinging, to keep your face properly hydrated. Or this is a big one, you beauty guides know what I'm talking about, you're not exfoliating. How many times do you have someone say, I don't like the way this looks, and they'll even send me a picture. Bam, from looking at that picture, I can tell all they need is to have a really good exfoliation, because that's dry skin that it's getting in. So number one is to prep your skin with skincare. You cannot have, I don't even care if this is professional makeup, you cannot have a 10 in makeup. You can't be a 10 if you have a 2 in skincare. You've got to give a 10 in skincare to have that in your makeup. 2 is to prime. Now, one important thing to know is if you're not using LimeLife primer, which is fine, whatever, don't get a silicone-based one, because if you remember, our foundation is waxed base. So if you have wax and silicone, you're going to get all kinds of sliding. It's not going to stay. You're going to think this is melting off my face, and that is probably why. So you need a primer that does not have silicone, but that primer is going to seal your pores, and it's going to give something for the foundation to adhere to. So that is really important. Number 3 is we have got to set our foundation. I cannot guarantee you it is not going to move around if it doesn't get set. We have some amazing setting sprays. I'm not using any of my little visual aids here. I forgot about them, but we have 2 amazing setting sprays. The oil strike is if you have oily skin, and so you might need a little extra in that, the oil protection. Or if you just have normal skin or mature dry skin, then we have the time setter spray. And that actually will help your foundation stay. Now, the 4th point, which really could go in with 3 and 4, I think are really close together, but a translucent powder or a colored powder. That is a great way to also set your primer, set your foundation. But it also, what I have it down for number 4 is to take that if it's too glowy, if it's, you feel like it's shining too much, that takes that part out for you. But it also, I use it because I love the way I pat it on with my blender full, and I love the way it sets my foundation and it keeps my foundation in place. Now, we're going to talk just a little bit about the tools, which I've lost one on the floor. But you guys, if you want a light coverage, I'm going to talk to you about the lightest coverage. Then a damp blenderful, yes, it's sturdy because I used it this morning and didn't clean it. A damp blenderful is going to give you your lightest coverage. You're going to twist it into your foundation, and then you're going to pat. Now, if you're using the blenderful, I highly suggest, as Joanna calls it, wherever she just moved on my screen, pouncing. And I when I heard her say that, I was like, that is so cute. But you're going to pounce it on your face. You're not going to use a blenderful to like smear it, because it's not going to give you a good coverage all around. So you're going to pounce or bounce to put it on. But this is going to give you the lightest coverage. Now, if you want, and let me just show you the damp blenderful. You guys, you can see it is, compared to the dry blenderful, it is a non-latex sponge, and it kind of inflates. It's non-porous. But if you want a medium coverage, this is where you're going to go to a dry blenderful or our beloved diffuser brush. These are the tools that are for medium coverage. And I actually normally use both. I use the number 17 diffuser brush to get it on, and then I actually will go in and I will pounce with a dry blenderful to kind of get that to set. Now, if you want a heavy coverage, we have a foundation brush. And you guys can see it's very thin, but it's a very thick, dense one. And it actually, I kind of think this is more like a paintbrush, the feel of it. It's almost like if you're wanting a heavy coverage, then you're going to almost paint your face with it. But the thing about it is, no matter which one of these methods you use, it is a light feeling coverage. You're not going to feel like you have anything on your face. If you feel like, oh my gosh, I've got so much product, then we need to talk, because something's not right, because it should be a very light feeling, like a second skin. It should just feel like a second skin. And like I said, I usually do the medium coverage, and I actually did not go on. I did my makeup this morning. I didn't go back on and do any touch-ups, except I did put a little lip gloss on, because I just wanted you guys to be able to see, especially if there's anyone on here that has not used our foundation before. We're looking at, it is 7:19 in the evening, and I put my makeup on first thing this morning. So this is all day wear. Is it perfect? No, but it doesn't look too bad really for having it on all day long. You guys, you can get a foundation palette, which is my very favorite thing. You can also buy foundation single, but the foundation, the perfect foundation, the perfect complexion palette, is that right? Perfect complexion palette, I think is what it's called, is one foundation and two concealers. And concealers, that's a whole nother topic. You guys, I'm sure there'll be another one on that, but it color corrects. You can highlight with it. You can contour with it, cover dark spots, you know. So I usually have something I need to cover up. So I frequently use my concealer. So this works well for me. And it does save you a little money as far as like buying them all individually. When you go on the site to look at foundations, there's going to be a foundation quiz. The foundation quiz sometimes can overwhelm people because they don't know how to answer the questions. So let me just quickly give some pointers there, and then I'm over time, so we're going to get off. But there are 3 undertones that you might have, and that's an important thing when you're doing the quiz. And this is some easier ways to know which undertone that you've got. You guys, if you are a cool undertone, then you kind of have a pink, and you probably burn easily in the summer, and your veins usually are more blue. That's just some little hints. If you have a neutral undertone, then you are more a peachy color. You sometimes burn, but you usually turn to a tan pretty quick. And you know, and you tan fairly easily. Your veins can look either blue or green, or you can actually see both colors when you look at your veins in your arms. And then if you're warm undertones, you have kind of a yellow, sometimes you can see a gold or an orange, but you have a yellow undertone. You tan easily, and your veins appear more bluish green. It's kind of a mixture. So those are just some easy things to help you if you go to fill out the quiz. And you guys, seriously, once it's opened, it lasts a year. It stays good for a year. If you are a light coverage person, you can probably get 5 to 6 months out of a foundation. If you are a heavier coverage, then you're probably looking more 3 to 4. So I mean, I know that's quite a range, but it just depends on the coverage. You're looking at 3 to 6 months is what it'll last. It has a shelf life of 2 years. So can I just say, we have never had a sale on foundation till that one just a couple couple months ago, and I had to look that up, you guys. I'm like, how long does this last? Because the stuff never goes on sale. So I bought extra because I'm like, oh, it lasts 2 years. So if it ever goes on sale again, make sure you stock up because it'll be good for 2 years. And I think that's all I had. So I hope, does anyone have any questions? No. Well, if you come up with some questions, reach out to your beauty guide, or beauty guide reach out to another beauty guide. I hope everybody got at least one little thing maybe you didn't know before this. That was my goal, was to try and come up with enough stuff that maybe I could give you one little tidbit that you didn't already know. So anyway,
Pam, it was so good. This was so, I learned stuff, and I've been here almost 3 years, so.
Thank you. Bye.